Good afternoon, Madurai. Still no energy, right? Even after Sujit's lively, introduction. What happened? Huh? Okay. Morning, the panelists were questioning the status quo, right? Weren't they? They were questioning the status quo, right? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So, before I go to my small slide and some of the thoughts which I thought I will share with you today, what are the key takeaways from the morning session? Can anybody say? What are the one or two key takeaways which you feel that today I am going to do in my college or in my institution? Dr. Anbu and his team had a wonderful session today morning. So what are the one or two key takeaways you feel that you should take back home and probably from coming Monday or say after Diwali you are going to implement it? Can anybody in this room can highlight me? Yeah. Okay. 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 Right. No, yeah, you're giving different dimensions, but Dr. Anbu was harping on one particular thing. What is the key thing he was harping on? I thought somebody from the crowd, from this room would say that one precise word. I was expecting that, it didn't come. Yeah.
Instead of blaming the students, instead of blaming the systems, instead of blaming the university, I will do my work to improve the employability of the students.
Okay. Yeah, one last thing, yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, different people are different, telling different things. Huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is a good point. One point is a good point. Second is, did the team not talk about the maintaining relationship? No, did not talk about corporate academic relationship? That is the key, right, for any talent to thrive in this competitive world. Okay. So I will just touch base upon some of the talent. I will just confine myself with the topic given to us. So first let me touch upon some, the war for talent and how to grow talent in the future. Okay. So, now there are a lot of buzzword going on in the industry. There is a war for talent in this country where there are 1.25 billion people are there. So, why this war for talent? Can anybody say? I'll give only 3 seconds for you to answer because otherwise I don't have time. So, why this war for talent? And how, where the talent has gone? Can anybody sensitize me? No. Abroad? Anybody else? Competition? No, I asked you where has the talent gone and why there is a war for talent. We all talk about war for talent because we talked about this war for talent in 2008, before 2008, 2009, then there was a recession. Now again, this subject has come as a debating topic everywhere, wherever you go. And whatever magazine you grasp through, the war for talent emerges. So why this war for talent, in your opinion?
Which knowledge implementation gives highest quality?
Okay. So the war for talent is because there is probably the demand versus supply, the equilibrium is not being met. That's why the war for talent is there, right? There is a lot of demand and the supply is there. Supply is there, but the right supply is not there. It's as simple as that, right? One is we are talking about the war for talent, and second is the talent also needs to wage for a war. You got my point? Our talent also needs to be ready for a war, because in today's corporate scenario, you know, there are a lot of pressures which we all need to undergo. One is probably cutting cost, showing profitability, and every corporate wants to retain their talented resource and don't have to go outside to hire more people. So as an employee, I need to fight a war, or I need to wage a war, right? So how the talent can be brought into the fore? Yesterday I was just browsing through this talent, and I was able to expand this talent in my own way. I just thought about it. So I just expanded this talent, what you could see in that slide. So when this would happen, this expansion, do you think when this could happen? Talent comes from heaven? No. Then how talent can be developed? Practice. Talent has to be nurtured, right? Talent has to be nurtured. So where the talent has gone? It is very much here, but we need to nurture the talent. Okay, and you know, in today's context, hiring methods have changed totally. Okay, so hiring methods have changed from degree-based recruitment to talent-based recruitment. Why? Anybody can say? Degrees are no longer going to fetch you jobs. Please understand that. Degree is only a basic parameter and not going to be a differentiator. I think morning many people talked about it, right? So degree is not going to fetch you any jobs. It's the talent which is going to fetch you jobs. So how do you build the talent? It's basically you build the talent through assessment of various profiles on various parameters. And a mere resume is not going to fetch you a job with a fancy designation, okay, BE, MBA. This is not going to fetch you a job in today's context. This much more is required for you to be employable in the coming days. Do you agree with me or not? Okay. So I would call this as a paradox of paradoxes, because we are a very, big country. We are next to China in terms of population, in terms of skills, and Modi ji is always talking about today morning people were highlighting about made in India, and our Prime Minister was also saying, don't, make China richer. India should be richer, whereas he was talking about on the context of Diwali is approaching and we all go and buy China candles. So what will happen to the artisans sitting in India? They will all starve out of hunger. So Modi was talking about, developing those ancillary industries within India so that you can give jobs, generate revenue and make the economy better. Okay. So there is a lot of talent and opportunities available in India. Only thing is the supply side is little weak. So I just thought there were some factors contributing to this paradox. This is a paradox in my opinion. So as a nation, there needs to be a lot of investment needs to be done. Investment is not in terms of money, but in terms of quality time, in terms of scoping the work, what we need to do, how we need to do, and when we need to do. So those scoping needs to be done. That is from a macro standpoint, as an industry or as a nation. Second is, we need to create a high quality education system, which I am sure many people talked about today morning. What is high education? High quality education is just producing engineers. So it is producing employable skills. How education has to imbibe the necessary skills in a person. I have not seen any engineering college which has an industry close to it. Anybody agree with me or disagree with me? At least I have not seen. I don't know. Okay, correct me if I am wrong, or you are free to confront me. Whereas any medical college will have a medical institution next to that. Why? Because I'm sure morning Mr. Muthu had spoken about the application of knowledge. So that application is the key. Okay. Medical schools are supported by medical college. Otherwise, you will not be a good doctor. Whereas the same is not applicable in engineering. Right? And why do people crave only for engineering? And the third important point which I could think about is there is no vocational guidance. Vocational guidance is totally, in the old economy we used to call apprentice, there is a vocational guidance. These things are not happening in today's context, right? Is any theory is being supported by practice? We all talk about internship, fancy words, going to campus, but the reverse engineering is not happening. As today morning again they delved on this issue. Nobody is visiting industry for this collaborative effort. We are also equally responsible as an organization. We need to make very clear what we need from the candidates. So we also have an equal responsibility. I'm not trying to run away from the responsibility. We also have an equal responsibility in developing the talent. And accepting the reality. You have to accept the reality why people stay with you and why people leave you. Okay, so that is become a reality. And at the end of the day, it is not only we hire, we need to retain the right resource, then only the company would thrive in the long run. Any questions on this? Okay, sure. So there is a new paradigm which is happening amongst the millennials. Somebody talked about millennials, Gen Y. Can you tell me what is Gen Z? Can anybody say what is Gen Z? Facebook generation. I'm also in Facebook. I'm not Gen Z. Yes. Who are born outside after 2000, they are giving you stiff competition, mind you. They are waiting to enter the corridor and make a difference. So let us be aware of the Gen Z. And Gen Y, here we are talking about the Gen Y who wants the life to be decided the way they want. It's no longer you are going to dictate. They are going to dictate the terms. So they are already sensitized that it is my life and I want to do what I want. I've heard a lot of stories in the sense, real-time stories in my organizations, elsewhere also, people leaving plushy jobs and following the passion. Right? I've heard about, in my own company 2 years back, there was a delivery head and he left the company. I asked him why, in the exit interview I asked him why are you leaving the company? He was with the company for 6-7 years. He says he's going to do photography. Then I asked him, will that photography fetch you the income which you are getting now? I'm not bothered about that. I'm not working for money. I'm working for my passion. I've already spent 15 years in this industry and this is enough. So that passion is going to drive the rest of my life. So people, and mind you, he is just 31 years old. Even before his degree, in fact, he was working part-time at a very early stage, and he came up the ladder at a very young age. So that is the mindset of the generation. So unless and until we keep them intact and we train them at the right time, you are going to lose the knowledge the knowledge bank either in college or in corporate. That is what is going to happen over a period of time. And we all know employment is for the lifetime, right? We all need to work. Why we need to work? Huh? Make a living. Okay, one is make a living. Second is not economic state, economic freedom? Don't you think there is an economic freedom in that? And what else? The most important thing which I am looking at. One is economic freedom. Keep oneself occupied. Okay. What could be the best answer? Reward for your work. Okay. That's all fine. End of the day. What is that? Satisfaction. That is the key. You need to be satisfied at the end of the day. Okay, today I've done this, so I'm satisfied. Okay. So what do we look at? What do we look for industry in a student? The first four factors are the key factors which across the world everybody has acknowledged. Critical thinking. We in the industry definitely require a candidate to think differently.
Now you have a challenge. You have to finish this slide in 2 minutes.
Okay. And communication, collaboration, creativity, ability to deal with ambiguity. Some problem statement is given to you and you don't know how to deal with the problem. How will you solve the problem? That is the practical situation given in any corporate. Patience. Nowadays, Gen Y is not patient. They are always on the move. Humility. I can quote examples of humility of ICT Academy. Today, Mr. Anbu, I was talking how humble he was. I was asking. Same thing, we immediately went to Mr. Shivakumar. Shivakumar also talking. Sir, na enna ellarme ICT la humble irkeenga ketta. Illa sir, unmai thane sir solrom. So that humility is the hallmark for your success.
So Shivakumar, you are placed today. Okay, he's selected. So now 1 minute for this slide.
Yeah.
It'll gradually reduce.
Since Sujit, don't worry, I stick to my deadline, both in office and in this room. So, last but not the least, one of the topic which was given to us as a team is the opportunities beyond IT. So why we need to look at, there are a lot of, why everybody is craving for IT? Is there anything fancy in that? There are a lot of opportunities elsewhere. People say, I can go to US, I have flexible working hours, I can sit at home. Somebody was telling today morning, you need to have a roof to log into your laptop. It's a very valid point. And to have a roof, you need to have a career in construction industry, right? So all those things, so there are a lot of opportunities available in other industry. You should, how many of your students would say that you are their idol? Or how many of you can say, how many of you in this room can vouch that my student will say that I am his mentor or I am his inspiration? Honestly, I want an honest answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. So the teacher is the person who will sow the right seeds for a person or for an individual to hone his skills in his career. So there are a lot of opportunities available beyond IT. Mining, you could see mining and construction. There is an increase of plus 49%. That's the I didn't say this. The statistics say some 5,237 industries have been surveyed, and this is the result of those survey. Finance, industry, real estate. Of course, Ms. Taj will talk about banking also, so I didn't touch about banking. So, public administration, your own industry, education, transportation. How many of you in this room have encouraged your students to become a teacher? Honestly, I want an honest answer.
Everything they say is honest, so don't worry. This is an honest question, honest.
How many of you have told your student you become a teacher? So, with these thoughts, I think I have stuck to Sujit's deadline, and the rest, there are a lot of other panelists who will sensitize you on different thoughts. Then the floor is open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwanathan. I think in my speaking tenure, I've never seen a speaker who has posed so many questions to the audience. Okay, I told them, "Bas thoongama paathukonga, amazing questions you have." The only thing is like Tasin ma'am was here informing me that every time you ask a question, the second time you ask the same question, hands were going down. Okay, so something is seriously wrong. Then it's not an honest answer. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now invite, he's going to be a very special speaker. At least I'm not too sure about the audience, but for me, Stanley and Anbu who have been in different panels, it's the first time I'm going to hear somebody from the ITES industry who's been a trainer all his life. Now, there was somebody who asked this question, I think this NPR HOD. Sir, you asked this question, what happens in that 6 months training, right? Now, if you notice, Shanmuga Velayudham from Coimbatore will go to ALSEC and will become Shan in 6 months, okay? They will talk in English, naku solti pesuvanga. Have you seen that? You are going to die. What? Nee setruna? No. You are going to die. Setruna, nalladana iruken. Yo, you are going today. Abindradhu dhaan. Nama today. Abindradhu to die. Abinduvanga. Right? இதை விட பயங்கரமா இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிட முடியாதுல்ல. Now the person behind this naku salting technology, right? Accent, you do accent training as well? இங்க பாருங்க, இங்க இருக்கிற ஸ்பீக்கர்லயே பாருங்க, அவர் தான் ஸ்மார்ட்டா வெள்ளேர்னு சப்பி குட்டி பாய் அப்படி மாதிரி இருக்காரு. Now I have met Gregory somewhere around 4-5 years back. தெரியாதனமா அவங்க கம்பெனில என்ன கூப்பிட்டு வந்தாங்க பேசுறதுக்கு, right? But he is a big name in the BPO industry. Now, BPO industry or the ITES industry, you will not find anybody sticking to that industry for more than 6 months. அதுக்கு குச்சிக்கிட்டே இருப்பாங்க, right? 12 years. He's going to complete 12 years in ALSEC, right? And somebody who has walked this way up all through his life, he has grown in ALSEC. So we are going to have some very interesting, give us some case studies also, right? On what do you do differently about training. So for example, if you're taking an engineering graduate from a remote part of Tamil Nadu, where his English or her English is like our typical butler English, what do you really do in terms of working around that magic? Soft skills, okay, if you can focus on that, that will be of great help, right? Rules applies the same. After your time is over, I'll cough and then I'll switch off the mic. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands to Gregory.